What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video we are gonna talk about the rework of MELCHIO. Is it good enough to be picked in any content in the game? We are gonna talk about that. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about his passive because it has a lot to say. Here, he is immune to Silence, Horrify and Provoke, which is pretty interesting for PvP. Then, he has no cooldown on his skills. As you can see, there is no cooldown at all. So, Ben Austin or Ina can't increase his cooldowns, and so it's another great advantage for PvP. Okay, so then he has a unique mechanic. He can transform in 3 different forms. It's not really a form, but it's an enhancement of skills depending on the layers of thunder, fire and darkness he has. At the beginning of the wave he's gonna get 1 layer of each. If he has only 1 layer on him, he's gonna cast a basic skill only corresponding to the elements. On the basic attack here, on the first skill, let's say the first skill, it's corresponding to the thunder layer, here to the fire and here to the darkness. Okay, it's independent, so if you are using a fire element, you are still having the enhanced skill on the basic skill here and on the ultimate here. So it's interesting, way better than before, because before you had some layers and you could cast only 1 skill and then you were back to the basic skill. So that was bad, but here it's independent and I love that. So here at the beginning of the wave he gets 1 thunder, 1 fire, 1 darkness, and every time he takes a turn he gets another one. And once he has 2 layers of 1 of each, thunder, fire or darkness, he can cast an intermediate skill, and when he has 3 layers of 1 he can cast an advanced skill. This is interesting. Okay. So, when he casts 1 skill proactively, then he's gonna consume all the layers of the corresponding elements of the skill. For example, if I have 3 thunder, if I use that basic attack proactively, that means without a counter attack, without a pursuit, then I'm gonna consume all the layers and my skill will go back to the basic skill. Okay, this is how it works. Okay, so that was all for that. Now let's have a look to the skills, okay? First skill, 3 stages of attack to a single enemy with a few damage here. Reduces the turn meta of the target by 10% or 15% when he lands a crit. And this is a huge skill because you reduce 3 times the turn meta of the target, so up to 45% when you land a crit. And this is really strong, especially if you are using Ben Austin, etc. in PvP. You can, in manual, you can target some specific units and lower their turn meta by a lot. If you are using Ben Austin, Lydia and him, probably you can lower a lot the turn meta of the target. And against bosses it's still working because 40% is a lot, and even if they are taking a bit less turn meta reduction, it's still interesting to have that. Then on this skill here, yeah, you know what, let's change the form and talk about the same skills. When it's on the intermediate form, deals 4 stages of 160%, 200% in max here, 200% attack damage to a single enemy. The 4th stage has a 60% chance to inflict stun to the target, and it has a 30% more piercing rate. Really interesting. But if you have the 3rd form here, 4 stages, still 4 stages of attack damage, but with 100% chance to inflict the stun and 75% piercing rate. So that skill is gonna deal an insane amount of damage. 75% is a lot of piercing rate, especially if you are using him with a shield smash aura maxed out. You are gonna have a ton of piercing rate, and then your damage are gonna scale up a lot. He's gonna be really interesting after that. Okay, so let's talk about the second skill here. 320% attack damage up to 380% attack damage to a single enemy and 2 other random enemies. Crit is guaranteed for targets with debuffs. It's interesting, but not that much. I mean, if you are playing him with 70% crit rate, it's great, okay? But if you want to beat a boss, etc., you want to maximize your crit rate because you don't have crit guaranteed on the basic attack, and this is the only skill you want to use against bosses. Second, intermediate skill. 3 stages of 110% in total, 150% attack damage to all enemies. Crit guaranteed for enemies with debuffs with 60% more crit damage. And advanced skill. 3 stages of 150% attack damage to all enemies, crit guaranteed for enemies with debuffs. This attack has an additional 100% crit damage, so normally that one is gonna deal a lot of damage. And finally, let's talk about the third skill here. 180% attack damage to all enemies with 100% chance, yeah, there is a bug here, 100% chance normally to reduce the tenacity by 60% for 2 turns. It's interesting, it would be better if it could also reduce the defense by 60%, but things are like this. Intermediate skill, remove shield from all enemies and deal 220% attack damage to them with a 60% chance to reduce their tenacity by 60% for 2 turns. In fact, it's 100%. I mean, on the basic attack here, I think it's 220% attack damage, something like that. There is an issue here. And on the third one, advanced skill, steals all the buffs from all enemies and deals 220% attack damage to them with a 100% chance to reduce the tenacity by 60% for 2 turns and with a 20% more leech, so he can heal himself using that skill. Stealing all the buffs is great for PvP though, so maybe with that he's gonna be interesting. But he needs exclusives. Let's talk about the exclusives. The first one, before casting an intermediate skill or an advanced skill, he's gonna get 8% more effect hit if he consumes thunder, 8% more attack if he consumes fire, and 8% more HP if he consumes darkness. Each of the bonuses mentioned above can be gained up to 5 times and will not be removed when he dies or at wave transition. That means you have some unique buffs. Every time you cast that, you're gonna get accumulated effect hit, attack or max HP during the run, and so it's interesting to have that in dungeons and also in PvP if the battle lasts long. Second exclusive, at the beginning of each wave, he's gonna get 1 more layer of thunder, fire and darkness, and he is gonna get different effects at the end of his turn based on the element consumed during his turn. When less than 2 layers of consumed, for example, imagine you are using an ultimate, okay? You are using an advanced skill, you are consuming the 3 layers. You are gonna get restores 12% of your HP and get 12% more turn meta. Then on the next turn, you are using a skill, you had 1 layer only of what you are gonna use. Then you are gonna get up to 3 layers directly on the next turn, so you can cast an advanced skill, a basic skill, advanced skill again thanks to the second exclusive, so it's really strong. And finally, the third exclusive here, he's gonna get more stuff on thunder, fire and darkness. Thunder, it's gonna ignore shield, damage, immunity and immortal. It's gonna be great for PvP. Increases the damage deal to boss by 100%, so you're gonna deal more damage to bosses. This is great. And each stage reduces the target's turn meta by 15% and additionally reduces 10% of the target's turn meta when landing a crit. So you want to max out his crit, okay? Fire, crit is guaranteed. This skill gains a 40% crit damage bonus and has a 25% piercing rate when targets with debuffs. Okay, and darkness, extra damage equal to 12% of the target's max HP, caps at 300% of MELCHIO's max HP, max attack. I don't know about that, because normally you want to use this kind of stuff against bosses, but in fact it doesn't deal a lot of damage, so I don't know about that. So enough talk about the skills, etc. Let's talk about the gear. I recommend to use him with some crit set and wild set, and to max out his crit rate first, then attack and crit damage. In fact, you don't really care about the effect hit. It's only providing a tenacity down, so you don't need that. And maybe for the stun on the basic attack here, it's interesting to have some, but you don't need a lot. You want to maximize his damage first. In terms of equipment, this is what I have on him. I have a wild set. This is the one I recommend the most, increasing his attack and crit rate by a lot. Here I have some attack rate, crit rate and effect hit as substats. Here I have another set, a wild set. Attack rate, crit damage, and others are not great. Here I have a basic crit set with some crit rate, speed, and HP, okay. Here some attack rate with crit rate and a flat attack. And as for the artifacts, I'm using a crit damage one here with some crit rate and attack rate in substats. Here an attack one with some crit damage and crit rate and attack rate in substats. And on the last one, some speed artifact with crit damage, crit rate, and that's all. You can use here, you can use an attack one if you want, a crit rate, a crit damage one. You can use, these two are the best ones to use on him, crit damage, crit rate, and attack rate, crit damage. Crit rate, sorry, this is great on him, and you can use that one if you want some more leech, but if you want him to solo some content, but I don't recommend to craft that one, to be honest. So, enough talk about the gear, let's talk about the emblems. This is what I have on him. Everything to increase the direct damage, and I prefer you having that to have more attack than a crit rate, because if you are using him in PvP, you have some crit guaranteed on the second skill. And here I have some more effect hit. That one can be interesting, and he takes less damage when he has a shield and takes less turn meter reduction. And in terms of aura, this is the only one I recommend to use on him. In terms of legendary aura, to get more piercing rate, the more you have the better, especially if you're using the basic attack, because you can have up to a 93% piercing rate if you have that aura maxed out, and if you have that, he's gonna deal insane amount of damage, I guess, with more attack when he has a shield. Otherwise, in terms of purple, you can use that one to have more crit rate and crit damage. You can use also, where is it? You can use the accurate harvester aura if you want to get more turn meter when you kill enemies in a PvP. It can be interesting. Otherwise, as blue auras, you can use that one to get more direct damage. Enough talk about everything here, let's have a look to PvP, and then we are going to have a look to PvE. So in terms of PvP, we are going to try against, where are they? We are going to try against that team first. With that team, okay, it's clearly not obtainable. We have Esther, Pauline, we have that. I'm going to try to change that, okay? I'm going to try to change that. You know what? Let's try with that. No, like here instead of Esther. Let's try with, yeah, I need Nicholas though. Let's try with that, okay. We're going to try with that and see what happens. So let's go in manual, because you won't play him in auto, otherwise it's not gonna be really efficient. So let's increase my attack, let's do a pursuit on that guy. And this is the damage. It proc the apple, so it's pretty interesting in terms of damage. So now I want to remove, no, I'm gonna keep that to remove all the buffs after, but I'm gonna use that because I'm gonna get more damage. No, I need debuffs on them. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna use the basic attack here. So one enemy is dead, so I increase my turn meter, I apply the damage immunity and the block debuff. Interesting damage with the counter attack though. Okay, perfect. We have some buffs in front of us, so you want to use that to use a basic attack. Reduce the turn meter. The turn meter reduction is insane. And here you want to remove all the buffs. Perfect. Okay, let's attack that guy, Nordak. The turn meter reduction is really strong though. And now as you can see, look at my skills. I have 2 layers of thunder, 1 layer of darkness, 3 layers of that. They have some debuffs, so normally they should take a lot of damage using that skill. Let's check. It was pretty nice. It was pretty nice. So let's continue in auto. And this is it. This is it. Pretty interesting, but it wasn't a big defense though. If we are trying against this kind of defense, probably I'm gonna lose because of Lydia. Permanent consolidation to the team in front of me, and a turn meter reduction, etc. We have a lot of buffs in front of us. and he pursued my MELCHIO. Am I gonna stay alive? No, and I am already dead. So yeah, it doesn't really matter. You need specific heroes to beat the top players in the game. I'm gonna try to put someone else instead. If I put a Pauline, maybe I'm gonna be able to stealth my MELCHIO, and he's gonna stay alive. Who knows? Okay, let's stealth. Defense buff. So yeah, they are targeting my Pauline. He is really tanky, so it helps a lot. Let's do that here on Pauline. Turn meta reduction. Okay, I'm not frozen. Let's remove all the buffs. Damage immunity. My Pauline is about to die. Okay, and now let's say I want to one-shot one enemy. Who should I focus? Probably AhkTaar. So I'm gonna try to kill her. Normally I'm gonna deal a lot of damage with that, and she has only tenacity up, but also tenacity down. Let's see. I one-shotted her. This is pretty strong. So in manual you can manage things correctly, and it's interesting. I'm gonna have to remove the buffs again, but I need another layer of that specific thing here. So I'm not gonna use that. I'm gonna use the basic attack heal, lower the turn meta of Pauline. Imagine using both Lydia and MELCHIO. Maybe it's gonna be interesting to reduce even more the turn meta of enemies. I'm almost dead with my Pauline, so I have to kill them fast. So I have so much turn meta reduction on my heroes. This is insane. And now I'm controlled. I'm gonna die. I am gonna die. So yeah, it's interesting to play that, but you need some more heroes if you want to beat the top teams in the game with Lydia today. So let's have a look to PvE now. If we have a look to dungeons, he is interesting against Graulen and Ifrit because they are taking more, if you have a look here, more direct damage here. 200% more direct damage and bleed damage. So if you are using this kind of team, it's gonna work perfectly. You have damage immunity, so you're gonna be safe. You have some more shields and tenacity buff thanks to him. Ripple to deal more damage on the basic attack. This is gonna be great against the boss. And you have also attack buff to 40% thanks to him and Rista. Crit damage bonuses and some freeze and the apple, more damage from the passive here. Let's have a look here. You're gonna see that he's gonna deal a lot of damage to the waves and to the boss especially. So, on the waves, I'm using the ultimate so I can deal AoE damage. And then I'm using other skills, but the damage are not that heavy though. It's taking a bit of time to kill them, but I'm able to kill them. That's perfect. First wave cleared. Place to the second one. Interesting damage. They have a lot of HP though. If you have a look, 7,400,000, so the damage were pretty nice. Freeze them. Yeah, in that team, Nicholas is really important. But this is one limited hero, because I'm saying that because today you have also Lydia, you have Little Jack, and if you combine all three limited heroes, then you're gonna have a perfect team, but it's still working with this kind of team with only one limited hero, so it's pretty strong in fact. And now have a look to the damage I can do against the boss. I'm gonna use only the basic attack on the boss. And it's gonna be interesting because I'm gonna have the bonuses from Rista, from Nicholas, and from the Ripple buff of Seth. Look at the damage, pretty nice, right? This is a great team for this kind of dungeon. And also it's gonna be pretty fast. Yeah, the boss is dying pretty fast. MELCHIO is great for that. Wasn't expecting him to deal that much damage before. That's pretty nice. Perfect. He is dead. And now let's have a look to the new guild boss, because we have a team, a direct damage team that can work, but it requires to have a lot of limited heroes. Here you are gonna have AhkTaar exclusive 3 to increase his damage, and here you are gonna have Rista, but I'm lacking the third exclusive, so I could have a defense down on the boss and it could be way better than that. So let's have a look here to the result. You are gonna see it's gonna be interesting, but his damage are not gonna be consistent, because every time he's gonna do a pursuit, he's gonna use the basic attack, basic form. I mean, he never uses advanced skills on pursuit. But the damage are pretty interesting. This is not the best direct damage team I can have today, but still. I mean, if you are using an AhkTaar with Nordak, probably you are going to deal more damage than your MELCHIO. But it's still really strong, right? Yeah, his damage are pretty nice. But if you have a look here, we can't have a look to the bonuses he gets from the passive here. That specific buffs, I checked, we get no more attack here, no more effect hit in the stats, so I don't understand. We have no unique buff saying we get some extra things, so I don't understand. I don't understand that part of his skills. Look at the damage, that was pretty nice though. 4 times 6 million. If you have a look, this is Thunder, okay? He has the 3 layers. Now he's gonna cast an advanced basic attack, dealing a lot of damage, and now he has no layers at all. At his turn, he's gonna get 3 directly, because of the second exclusive, otherwise he would get only 1 more. That means every 2 turns he can cast the advanced skill, which is pretty strong. I have no defense down on the boss, as I was saying before. That's because I don't have the exclusive 3 on Rista, otherwise I will deal way more damage than that. That's not bad. 374 million, 11 turns. Yeah, AhkTaar is a great combo with him, AhkTaar and Rista, because they both increases his turn meter by a lot, and so the more often he plays, the better the damage. Because the more often he's gonna get the layers of thunder. Okay, 14 turns, 500 million. I'm gonna deal less damage than my team without limited hero, the team I made with AhkTaar and Nordak. So he's not the best hero for that, but still interesting. Almost done. Am I gonna reach the 700 million? I don't know. We are close though. I'm not gonna reach 700 million. So this is an interesting team, but clearly not the best. Because I have 2 limited heroes, I have 2 mythic heroes, and I have Rista, and still it does not enough damage to be a top team in the game. So, in conclusion, he is really interesting for PvP if you want to manual things, probably for the guild arena or this kind of stuff, 3v3 or the championship. Maybe he can be interesting in a team. Outside of that, he's interesting against Ifrit and Graulen because they are taking more direct damage, and he is interesting in a team against the guild boss, but you have better solutions, so it's up to you to decide if you want to pick him or not. That was all for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If it's the case, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Have a nice day. See you soon. Bye bye.